Welcome to Paranormal Stories Part 14. I'm going to share with you my second ayahuasca journey. Now, of the four times that I've done it, the second time is the one that definitely stands out. It was years after the first time I tried it, but I realized I wasn't quite ready for it then. And so, my second time, I told myself, I was like, hey, because I only had a half shot the first time I did it, I'm going to ingest as much of this as I can and receive as many benefits as possible. And before every journey, I always set the intention. I want it to help open up my heart that would have a permanent effect. And I also set some other intentions that I wasn't quite expecting them to play out the way they did. And one of those was I invited a friend to join me in spirit, and I also received another surprise. Before this ceremony, I was a very clear channel. Wasn't drinking, wasn't smoking, was vegetarian at the time, ate about one meal a day, intermittent fasting. And so my body was very ready for this experience, you could say. And the one thing that stands out to me, even to this day, that I find very interesting was that 3 days leading up to the ceremony itself, I actually started to feel energetic changes in my body to the point where I came to the conclusion that I was already feeling this medicine affecting my body. So I get to this ceremony, and after, you know, taking a large shot, we went into meditation. And the first thing that happened after about 45 minutes was I felt myself no longer in my body, and I was traveling through some kind of like energetic tube that had all this sacred geometry and symbolism, and I was flying through it. And the next thing I knew, it seemed like it took quite a while to get to wherever I was going. I didn't know where I was going. And when I got to the other side of this, what I now call portal, I came out into just like, it was just like blackness with like faint stars in the background. But I was in this energy of unconditional love that just absolutely blew my mind. It felt like I was breathing in love, eating love, drinking love, basking, like swimming in love. It was just like every I want to say cell of my body, but I was in, soul form. Every part of my being was just blissed out, and I was like floating in space, just basking in this energy, and I was just taking it in. And after some time went by, I said to the spirit of ayahuasca, I said, thank you for taking me to this love. And I heard a feminine voice say, oh, I said, thank you for bringing me this love. And I heard a feminine voice say, I did not bring you any love. I simply showed you the love you have containing within. And this hit me like a ton of bricks to the point where I could feel my physical vessel wanting to cry, because I couldn't believe that this was, a portal into my heart, and this is how much love was there, because it felt like, well, if that's been there the whole time, how come I've never been able to tap into it? Because I couldn't believe that it was mine. And after some time of basking in this, I got this like pull feeling on me that it was time to go back. And back through this portal with all this sacred geometry I went, but it seemed to be a lot quicker. And when I came back to my body, the best way to describe it was I felt like an electric eel. I went from the spirit realm back into my body, and when I came back to my body, it just felt like I just felt like all I was this massive amount of energy. And I was like maybe 30% in the physical, because I was sitting on my yoga mat, but like I was seeing stars, and I was trying to focus on my body. It just felt like this current of electricity. And the next thing I know, even I'm kind of looking in partial space and partial 3D. I look over to my left, and there's this whole blend going on, but I start to see like space. And the next thing I know, my soul's out there. It's like I was looking at it through separate eyes. I was seeing my soul out in space, and the next thing I know, two bright souls start coming towards me, and one was taller, one was shorter, and the closer they got, I realized that this was the soul of my mom and my son. And the next thing I know, we all put our hands around each other, and you could say we kind of caught up, right? And this was extremely uh, imp- important or meaningful because I lost my mom 3 months before my son was born that I had specifically for her. And that was something that was extremely hard to get over. So that experience meant a lot. And then the next thing I know, the soul of my friend appeared right beside me, and it looked identical to her, but it was in soul form. And at the time I was attracted to this woman, so I put my hand on her back and I started to rub it, and I laughed and said, "You're even hot in the spiritual realm." And then she laughed and just disappeared. But that was a pretty crazy experience. And then after all this took place, the shaman asked anyone if they were ready or wanting more. And I remember telling myself, I told myself I was going to force myself to do as much of this stuff as possible. And one of the rules was you have to be able to stand up and walk over to the shaman to do it. And for me, that was a very challenging task. Just rising to my feet like took all all of my energy not to fall over. And even the shaman's like, "You all right, Ash?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm coming." And so I did another full shot of this stuff. And that's when I went back to my yoga mat, and I just started feeling like this electric eel again. I was looking at my body, but I was like, okay, obviously I'm energy because I'm just radiating right now, like to the point where if someone would have said, "I bet you $100 if I put a light bulb on you, it won't light up," I'd be like, "I'll take that bet." And as I'm laying there, the next thing I know, there's all this like different colored shiny green lights, all these green flashing orbs of light start going off all around me, and I feel this presence come towards me. And then the energy of Archangel Raphael overcame me. And one of the rules in ceremony is not to make sounds or like move around too much and bother your neighbor. Archangel Raphael sent me this healing chi bomb into my heart that when it hit, it felt like my heart just had a big O. And like I moaned out loud, and I think I rolled right off my mat to the side. And this kept continuously happening. And after some time went by, I felt Archangel Raphael's presence leave me. And then the shaman gets up and starts singing on his guitar. And as he was hitting certain notes, it was like these bombs in my heart were going off again. And I just kept moaning out loud and rolling around like a fish out of water. Eventually, that experience came to an end, but that was definitely the craziest ayahuasca ceremony that I've ever experienced.